So we're going to try out this microphone get up today. It's very low tech and do not know how that's going to work, but we're going to go for it. Recently I've been on a little jag. I painted one and put it on Facebook Marketplace, and the response to that was so crazy. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna paint some more of those. So then I posted the second one, and it too, it had like almost I posted it like late Wednesday night. It was finished. There was this lady, she was supposed to buy it. I posted the first one and it sold, and she was like, oh no. And I said, well, I can paint you another one. I said, now it won't be exactly like it because they're all originals. And she said, oh yes, please do. So I paint the second one, and then she says, oh, the first one had, you know, this whatever. And so I tried to kind of go by what she was saying and fix it. And finally I said, yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. No worries. Kind of like, go away. Go away, Karen. I know you're kind. So anyway, I said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and sign it and seal it and post it and see what happens. Well, I got more traction on the second one than I got on the first one. I got a lot of traction on the first one. This one I ended up posting, I think it was late Wednesday night. And nobody contacted me until Friday night, finally. Whole bunch of people liking and saving, and I don't often get a lot of shares, but this time I even got shares. So I'm like, okay. Obviously these people are like frog fanatics, or they have friends that are frog fanatics. And this guy reached out to me Friday evening and said, please tell me you still have this. I said, I do. He said, I can't get there till noon on Saturday, but I definitely want it. I definitely will come. Well, in the meantime, I was looking at something else, and I got intrigued by just watching the stats. And before I marked it sold and removed it, it had just shy of 1,000 likes, 99 saves, and 2 shares. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So this one guy, I said, well, I have been a little amazed, whatever, by the response. I think I'm going to paint at least one other one. And he said, please do. I'll keep watching your profile. So anyway, it just so happened I was at Savers, and what I use for my paintings, whatever size they are, actually I paint on canvases depending on what frames I find. So I like real wood and vintage. So usually the vintage ones will have some kind of cool, you know, detail on them or whatever. And then I paint them for the frog pictures. Oof, every time that air conditioner on, it's so loud. Anyway, it's this, that is not showing up. Hold on a second. It's this green, this really, really, almost, I guess what I would call like a Kelly green. That is just not showing up very well. Why is that not showing up well? Anyway, I'll show you. There, that caught it. There you go. That color. It's just a bright green. I have to put about 3 or 4 coats usually of a multi-surface I just get the stuff from Hobby Lobby, honestly, because the multi-surface really sticks well. And I don't try to gob it on. I'd rather do 3 to 4 light coats and let that really, and I also do sand them before I start, which also helps it stick really well. And then I just leave the backs plain so they can see that it's real wood, because it just, I don't know, just has a different vibe. You know me, vintage girl. Anyway, so these first two are 8x10 canvases, and obviously 8x10 frame openings, or about 11x13 outside measurements. And charging $30. And I think that might have something to do with it too, that they're reasonably priced. It's some, young people don't want, I don't know whether they don't want a giant frog. I can see why they would not want a giant frog. Not like an 18x24 giant thing. But also when you have the small ones, the cost of the frame stays low. And you can get a 20, I guess up north I think they call it Value Village, but here in Texas they call it Savers. And we may be the only Savers here in Austin that there is in the whole state. I don't really know. Seems like I looked that up for my sister one time, and I said, oh yeah, I see. Well, that's a problem, because there's only this one. Seems like. But anyhow, if you go on Senior Tuesday, you can get 30% off, but you can also bring a donation any day of the week and anybody can get 20% off. So I got these on Senior Tuesday, actually. So my investment in the frames is about $3, which makes it doable. And this particular pile of canvases, so that's how I got into this, was a friend had given me a pile of canvases. She was wanting to try to do some painting, and she just got frustrated and said, I'm not a painter. And I'm like, well, anybody can be a painter, but I get not feeling comfortable with it. I gotta do some of this. Try not to pull this off the table, but I don't want it getting in the paint. So anyway, that's what I'm doing this Saturday. So I met up with him and sold it, and I asked him, I said, what, I love my art too. I think these frogs are absolutely adorable. I was like, but I'm interested in what is drawing you to it. And he said, I don't know, it just has this a really cute expression on his face, kind of quizzical or whatever. And he said, there's just something about it, and I love the colors. And I'm like, okay, that's good info. And then he said, this is how I often sell things. He says, do you have any other of your art available? I was like, sure do. Go follow my my Facebook Marketplace profile, and you will see them when they come out. You see what's already there. I showed him a couple, and I said most all of my stuff is really colorful. I'm just a maximalist. That's the way it goes. Y'all are not seeing too much of my house right here because I've got the way I'm standing here in front of this card table, which is what I do when I'm on a painting jag for sure. Sometimes I'll just paint in my lap, but that has had some very negative consequences. I'm very bad about just that ADHD brain kicks in and I'm like, I want to paint right now, and I have ruined so many good clothes. So now I have this apron that I wear, which so far has prevented any further tragedies. mostly I deal in acrylics, so if I catch something fast enough, I can rip it off and rinse it out real quick, but then that requires a clothing change and then I lose my groove. Welcome to the ADHD brain. Anyhow, I was like, okay, and I said, also, was it the subject matter too? And he said, oh yeah, I love frogs. And I was like, okay. I heard a lot of that too in the comments of people when I would say it's already pending, but and they're like, oh no, I love frogs, or my sister collects frogs, or it was there's a whole frog thing going on out there I was not even aware of. But it turns out I can paint them, and I have been painting them, and I do paint them, and I shall continue to paint them until the desire for said frog paintings subsides. So if you want to know what I'm doing currently, painting green frames, and soon I will be painting. I have 3 frames here, so 3 more. It just so happens I have 3 more 8x10 frames and 3 more canvases, free canvases. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Happy Saturday.